paano gusto mo?
Game?
Anyway, so yeah, let's start.
What? One mouse. Advanced like one advanced one mouse.
Yeah. Okay lang ba yun? Kasi,
okay.
okay. Alright.
Go ahead. It's your first time in this.
So, tonight let's talk about setting up a virtual development environment when you're doing your Django applications. And, yeah. So, you have a web project, and you want to start learning web development using Python, right? And you heard that Python and Django is pretty cool to do your web work. So you started installing, configuring this and that package, app, or library that you saw on the internet. So yeah, you keep on installing package A, package B, library A, library B, doing configurations. There's no end to that, right? And you're making a mess out there. And that's not a bad thing, because making a mess is practically, yeah, it's how we learn. Okay, so when you're done playing with the tutorials and the practice apps that you're working on, it's time to clean up, right? Oh wait, did you keep track of the things that you've installed and you've configured on your laptop or on your computer? Probably not. So what happens? Practically you mess things up on your computer, right? Now, you have all these softwares, configuration, and hacks that you don't even need, because practically we're just playing around, right, with the new technology. Dude, that's like messing up your own house to the point of no return. So what do? We reformat, reinstall again, going through all that. I can curse, right? Yeah. So yeah, probably at some point in time we'll probably reformat and install everything again. But you still want to play next time, right? You still want to tinker. Because that's how programmers roll. They mess things up every time we explore something. So, yes, right. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Let's set up a virtual machine. So that we can mess around with your toys and still keep your house clean. That right? Setup, practically Ubuntu on your host, or probably Windows or Mac. And then using an Ubuntu server for your guest OS. So some assumptions, probably most of you have already heard of VirtualBox, virtual machines, and installing the guest editions. So you should also know some terminal, should be comfortable with the terminal. And you have the necessary files, so that's your Ubuntu ISO, your VirtualBox installed, guest editions, and if something messes up, Google's your best friend. So let's roll. So fire VirtualBox, right? Very simple. So let's go to File, Preferences, Network, and create a new adapter and take note of the IP. So it's practically that one. Let me see here. So you gotta take note of that IP address after, and then the name over here. And then create a new virtual machine and adjust it to your liking. So I typically just go with the default if it's just my play in dev environment. So create a new virtual machine, and then open your VM settings and go to the network tab. And then set the adapter 1 enabled and attached to NAT. So it's the default one. And then head over to the adapter 2 enabled and attached to host-only adapter named VBoxnet 0. So it's the one that we created on the network preferences. So yeah. And then install Ubuntu server. And then yeah, while you're doing that, there are just things to make sure about. So be sure to select ETH0 when you are asked what is your preferred network, because practically Ubuntu will be detecting two networks, two network adapters, since that's how we set up the machine. So it's this interface when you're doing that. So just use that as your preferred one. And then, yeah, just use everything up for your, just use the entire partition. And then, yeah, practically select your choice, your initial choice. Then after installation, reboot, and add the following lines at the bottom of ETC network interfaces. So you're probably going to be accessing that through the command line. And that's how I add it. You're practically going to be adding this lines here, so that Ubuntu will be able to identify that you have a second network adapter. And then, yeah, this is the IP that I've asked you to take note of. And then activate the secondary network interface through the command line. Just type up sudo if up ETH1. Then let's test it. So fire up your browser on your host machine and point it to the IP address that we've set earlier. And guess what? You'll be able to access your virtual machine from your host. It's just like when you're subscribing to this VPS or some external server. So, but in this case, it's running inside your own box. And then you can practically access your virtual or your development environment by SSH in your terminal and do your damage in there. So if you try to SSH, you'll probably notice that that there will be two IP addresses detected. So this one is practically the local of the virtual machine. Then this is the one that you are accessing from your host. Then profit. Yep, that's about it. And go on and make more mess.
Questions?
Yeah. Questions?
You said that you would be able to know the files that you've installed, like the libraries you installed.
Sorry.
How would we know the libraries we installed after we played around with the...
Okay. Sometimes we practically just keep on installing stuff from the internet, right? So that's where the dilemma is. Like, oh shit, I installed a lot of things and I forgot and I did not track anything. It's really up to you, but you know, do you really keep track of those things that you installed and the websites that you visited? Probably not. So this is where it actually becomes beneficial.
Any more questions? I have a question. What's up with the nuclear warhead feature?
Yeah, it's like messing up your.
Are you suggesting that we programmers, when that in the new word, that would happen?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, everyone use virtual machines. They say. Okay. Any more questions?
Okay, thank you.